6:30 p.m. Eastern. Shelby's World Live taking off. Questions will be answered cause the queen get it off. Unity is for the black and brown community. Conversation without scrutiny. Hey, we speak from a place of power, no coward. We just making sure the truth isn't overpowered. Black goddess, black queen, no in between. Radio podcast to the big screen. Her smile is everything, can light up a room. She say what she means, that's why we're in tune. Grown woman handles her biz like it is. Discipline, a role model for the kids. Nothing was given, everything she earned. She sat back and learned, and now it's her turn. So stop on by, comment, subscribe. Each and every Wednesday, SW Live.
Shelby's World Podcast.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening? What's happening? Happy new day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all come on in. We're going to jump into the show today. It's As the World Turns. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things. This is going to be one of our segments on this topic of racism. And we're going to kind of leap around and come back to it every now and again. But today we're going to talk about some of the microaggressions that are deemed racist or just have any type of racist statute against certain demographics and certain cultures in this country. So welcome in. We're going to start off today with our quote of the day. And that is, racism is America's greatest disease, yet racism is a disease of the white man. It's not a disease of everybody. Unfortunately, fortunately, is not. But it is a pretty harrowing situation, and it's a continual situation. We would have thought that racism was going on like way back in the 1800s, 1700s. And we would have literally thought that by this time, we're in 2026, we would have literally thought that by this time, that wasn't the case. But you can't really get rid of the acts of racism without starting at the root of racism, and that's systematically done. So there are so many systematic issues that are justifiably continual in racism today. And if we don't get those gone, we don't take those situations away, we will never have a country that accepts everyone for who they are, where they're from, how they are. And America was always supposed to be this country that said the land of the free. But for the people who are even born here, it's so many injustices brought upon them on a day-to-day basis. So racism is America's greatest disease. However, it is not the disease of the country, it's the disease of the white man. And we all know that there are several cultures in this country. So a person's viewpoint and racist thoughts have garnered the whole system, the whole country since day one. So we're gonna just talk about some of the things that do affect certain cultures and certain situations in this state, in this country. So yeah, we're gonna talk about today as the world continues to turn, as it continues. So racism is America's greatest disease. Yet racism is the disease of the white man. Drop your applauses if you agree. Yes, in the comments. Let me know what your mindset is on that. Do you believe that it's a constant systematic situation that has to change within the system first? Or do you believe that it's a people situation? And I think that it's the people who run the system. It's a systematic situation, but it still starts with the people who are running the system. It all is a systematic situation. So let's we can't really argue with that. But if you do agree, say yes in the comments. If you don't, hey, it is what it is. But if you don't agree, definitely let me know why you don't think it is. I would love to hear a different viewpoint on that, because I do love different areas of viewpoints. I love that. So many things. He said, Absolutely agree. It's a system and people thing, definitely. And because more so than anything, the people run the system. You can't change what's happening in the system unless you change the people that's running the system. We got so many. It's so many old people that run the system that have their viewpoints from the 1940s. However, those viewpoints have been created in 2000, in the 20th century, in the 19th century. They've given that and started teaching it to their children, their offspring. So it has now been continual. It's not just a 18th 19th century situation no more. It's the 21st century that's suffering from stuff that's been happening and put into ideologies since the 18th century. We got to change. We got to change. And not just because of the people they have transformed. Exactly. And I said that it's more of the same. It's so many things that are happening that are more of the same. They just transferred over how they act upon it now. Um, Slavery is still slavery. It's just now modern day. Racism is still racism. It's just now modern day. So we're gonna jump into it. So many things happen in the country at one time, and so many of these things are either affecting us directly or indirectly. But either way, it's affecting us. The feeling that Black folks are experiencing is a little more blatantly in our faces, and the racism is very, 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 very strong. We've always dealt with it, and we've equally had to keep moving as if it doesn't affect us. But racist trauma is a real thing. Being faced with racist rhetoric is real. Walking into your job, into stores, into banks, schools, or any place that is deemed a public place always feels like the uncanniest set of eyes are on you because of what you look like or the shade of your skin. It's it's just an instant wrong when you walk in. Like you're just wrong because of who you are and what you are, where you are, all the situations. However, we still love who we are. Why wouldn't we not? Why not? In the context of racism in the United States, racism against African Americans, Black Americans dates back to the colonial era and continues to be a persistent issue in American society in the 21st century. And it's so bad that I saw a brother say he made a post. He's a mayor of some city, somewhere. I forget where he was, but I saw the post. It didn't even really matter who he was or whatever. He just literally said, in certain areas of this country, they don't deserve Black women, and so they don't deserve Black people at all. And so many people in the comments, like you can see the racism. You're reading it, and I only clicked on the comments because I just knew when he said the first thing he said was Black women, and Black women are the most hated in this country, point blank, period. So when he said that, that's where all the comments were geared toward the fact that he said Black women are not, the country doesn't deserve Black women. And the majority of the hate came from white women in the comments, but a lot of it came from a lot of the white men as well. And you just see in many of the comments that they can go back where they came from, baby. Half of the over 80% of the population of Black people in this country were born in this country. They were not. We that are here now, we're not shoveled over here on boats or sold by our people. We were born here, and we're still having to hear the rhetoric. Go back to where you're from. Go back here. You can get on the bus. We'll give you, make sure you can get up out of here. And it's mostly from a lot of racist antics, and the rhetoric comes from people who have literally zero education. I mean, zero education. Because most races are uneducated people. The bottom of the barrel type people, but also the ones that are the racist ones making the laws that are keeping the systematic racism going are the rich white people that are deciding, hey, we just don't want to see nobody come up here where we at. They don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it but us. We run this country. And that's a constant. We've been dealing with that all of our lives. When asked if Black people in their community are treated less fairly than white people in various situations, 57% of the US adults say Black people are treated less fairly in dealings with the police, such as during traffic incidents. That's far greater than the percentage who say Black people are treated unfairly when engaging in the other 5 activities measured, which were how they receive their healthcare treatment. 38% of them say they have to go through racist antics when they're dealing with healthcare. 36% of us say that we have to deal with racist antics when we're shopping or we're downtown in different malls. 34% of us are dealing with racism while we're working. While in restaurants and bars and restaurants, 32% of us are dealing with racism. And when in our neighborhood shops where we buy our houses and pay our rent, 30% of us are dealing with racism in our own communities where we live regularly. Our money spent, but our face and our color has a different tone. They don't have no problem with cashing them checks. Still, these perceptions of unfair treatment have been steadily rising since about 2016, and they are now at a record near high. The record near high of racism now is so blatantly laid into our faces is that now you're just either dealing with it or you're just trying your best to just keep going and ignoring it. Because a lot of us are responding to it. Because you're getting your toes stepped on right there in your face. Somebody walking up on you, walking dead in your face, cutting in front of you in line just because of the color of their skin. Somebody telling you to go shop in another store just because of the color of their skin. Interesting. So let's talk about the microaggressions that Black people are dealing with all the time. This isn't just a one-time thing. This is an everyday situation for Black people in this country. And it's not just something that we're gonna just keep saying we're gonna roll over and just keep dealing with it. People are facing the people speaking up about their racism. They're not just dealing with it. I know I won't. I don't really run into too many opportunities of where I have to speak forth about it. But when it comes to my face, I'm never backing down to defending myself. Don't think that I'm ever gonna back down to defense mechanisms that are barred against me. If you standing in my face, in my space, you're gonna respect my space. It's just that simple. Microaggressions. And these are things that we deal with every day, bro. So it's the ones that I'm gonna read out are the ones that are more vagrant and done regularly. These are not things that are just mentioned just to be mentioned. These are regular everyday things. And I don't have a problem with interracial relationships. You love who you decide to love, but you do know that when you are in these interracial relationships, they got more respect for the white person in that relationship than you. That's why you have to deal with certain microaggressions of them addressing your white partner instead of you. That's a microaggression. They're basically saying that's who we talking to. They're more important. You just with them. Yeah, that's a microaggression. When you're addressed or when you're not addressed, you could be the person that passed them your card at the restaurant and you're not addressed though. They're going to pass that card back to that white person at that table. 2, when they expect you to be a spokesperson for your entire race. That's a microaggression. That's a very vagrant microaggression. Like, I'm never the spokesperson for my whole race because I don't know everybody in my race. I don't know what everybody in my race likes to do. I only can speak for things that only affect me when it comes to things on a day-to-day basis of like what I eat, what I like to wear, where I shop, where I like to hang out. Those are things that Shell likes to do, not the next Black person. So why would you generalize us? Generalizations are an everyday thing. When a white person tells you they don't see color, that's the first rule of racism right there. You don't see color. To me, I haven't quite understood what that meant either. Can somebody in the comments let me know what that means when a person say they don't see color? Let me know what that means when a person say they don't see color. When people marvel at how well you are spoken. I don't even think that even bother me anymore. It's most of the microaggressions don't bother me anymore. Just don't do them to me. But it don't bother me anymore because I've met so many different people in so many different cultures that do not know how to talk, that this, you saying that I speak well, probably is because you ran into people who have different dialects, different native tongues, different things that change the way they speak so that you don't understand them. Then I wouldn't even address it. They're trying to say they see everyone as the same. They lying. That's what they say when so that's what it. Okay, so yes, I knew that, D. I knew that. However, I don't know. Maybe I was looking for why they try to say that they don't see color, they see everyone as the same. Why would that even be said? That's because for one, it's a lie. We know if you don't see color, when somebody knocks at your door and it's storming, and we say, if I'm at your door and I say I just got ran off the road by another car, my baby scream, you can hear my baby screaming to the top of my of their lungs. It's a white, yes, it is. It's definitely a white supremacy rhetoric. But you can, excuse me, you have all the things to see that I'm in dire need of help. And I wouldn't even mind if you just say, I'll call the police for you, and you just stand on my porch. We just won't even get the door answered. They call the police on us and tell the police that we're a problem versus trying to help us. But we've seen many occasions that white children, other races go knock on black women's doors, and black women always are the ones that try to save those children's lives, or even the people's lives who are knocking on the door and banging, because we're just really good people most of the time. Every culture, every race has a little couple of nutballs, but the majority of black people are caring people. When they tell you your hair isn't professional, I've been told that before when I used to wear my afro, and it wasn't that they said it, they didn't say it, but they said it. You know, one of those microaggressions, like how long it took your hair to you to do your hair like that in the morning. It probably will be easy if you just put it in a ponytail. Somebody said that to me one day, and I thought that was the weirdest thing to say because I wore my hair how I wanted to wear my hair. But to say to me, it's probably easier for me to put my hair in a ponytail, like, you know what's easier for me to do with my hair, because you got this hair. It gets more and more interesting every day. The microaggressions are the things that tend to stir up the emotional rhetoric in certain areas too, because some of those aggressions start to speak loudly. They just sound micro. The word micro is in it to make you think that it's a micro situation, but for the most part, those things be loud. Like, and this how it be, like a in and out of that, like let you know it's like a vessel just breathing, annoying you. When they say, well, when they make you feel invisible, have you ever been at work or in a situation or in a space where you've been one of the only you there, and they talk over you like you're not even in the room, you're invisible, and you stay? Because I don't stay. See, and that's another thing with me too. I'm just really not one of those people who are going to participate in ignorance happening to me, and I stay in a situation. Like, if I see something happening and I don't like what's happening, I leave the situation. It's too many times we stay in situations like we need the situation to validate us, or if we're trying to prove something to someone. I don't care to prove anything to anyone, especially someone that's in another culture. Why would I be trying to prove to you? Who are you to make me have to step outside of who I am to prove who I am? And I'm in an uncomfortable space. You making me in an uncomfortable setting, and you still think that you have the ideology to ignore me in this space, even though I'm on the same level as you. They don't care about that. You are never on the level of a white person. You will forever, no matter how many degrees you have, no matter how much you have in this, and this, you're going to always be looked upon as the person who doesn't have that, or you had to work, or you know inside how much harder you had to work just to get it and prove to you that you had it. I don't do anything. Once I learned so many things about who I am and where I am, I don't choose to do things to make myself feel more superior than another culture. I only do things to feel good about me. But if I'm doing it to prove a point, I'm doing it for the wrong reason. When they say you have good hair because it's not nappy, that to me has made so many people be a part of self-hate toward themselves. Their hair type is why a lot of them wear a lot of wigs and they perm their hair. Like, we did a lot of things before we knew that it was affecting who we are as an individual, because we were told that we had to look a certain type of way just to be accepted. So when somebody says that your hair is nappy or it look good because it's not nappy, that's really almost like a slap in the face, because however your hair is supposed to be is how your hair is supposed to be. I'm not changing who I am to benefit anybody. If it don't suit me, it don't suit me. I'm not doing it to suit you. And I think a lot of us are starting to see that we have to do what makes us comfortable. We have to do what makes us rational in our day to day, not how anybody else feels. There's so many of us that'll roll over and just say, screw it. And I see that's in every culture. These people come over here and become so Americanized, and this is every culture, bro. They completely forget. And other cultures literally are coming over here. But for the Black Americans born here for y'all to keep on telling us to get on the boat and go back, fuck off. When people ask to touch your hair or just do it without your permission. Now, I don't know too many Black women myself, Black women, Black men, Chinese, Asian, Mexican, Hispanic. I don't know too many other cultures that just walk up to people and just touch their hair. Just feel like they just have the just audacity at a all-time high, and just start touching on people's hair. I've never seen so many people just feel like that's an okay thing to do. But when you just have that feeling of I can just do whatever and I do whatever when I want to do it, how I want to do it, it comes off like that. And the people on, and I will say it's more of the white women that kind of just feel like they can just do whatever and just touch you, welcome themselves into your space without them being welcomed in. They'll just come into your space. They don't knock. They just walk in. So those are just the microaggressions came from real incidents. These are just not microaggressions that people just said, let me just think of this one, and just say this happened. No, these are things that we experience. These are things that are experienced regularly. When a retail worker immediately directs you to the sales rack. Has that ever happened to y'all? Has that ever happened to y'all? I like, has anybody, you been in a store and they just immediately just start walking y'all over to the sales rack? That's weird. They don't come over and get Americanized. They come over and start acting and talking like us, but hate to give us credit for anything. Yeah. Well, they don't, you're right. They don't come over to get Americanized or get Americanized. They come over and use their freedom, their newfound freedom, to pick and choose how they want to deal with other cultures. And then they use that culture there. They use the fact, like, you'll notice that a lot of cultures that do come over that we do call Americanized culture, they start acting more like the white people in the country, and start treating other people like they're not from here. That's how they come over here acting like this. Like they been here, like they was born in this area, like they came, like they voted here before. Like, you know, they the ones coming having to get the green cards, but they come over and start acting like this is their space. The way they start acting toward people who are already citizens here, it's amazing that people will come and they're not even welcome in their own area. They probably get treated like shit over there, and then they come over here and they start treating other people like shit. D, what was this a response to when I said, have you ever been directed to the sales rack? So I've never been personally directed to the sales rack, but I've been in the store and seen somebody walk somebody to the sales rack. They definitely did not ask to be directed to the sales rack, but they were sent over to the sales rack, and I thought that was really weird. But the lady told she spoke up for herself. People are very open about speaking up for themselves now, and I don't blame them. But she definitely spoke up, and she said, "I didn't ask for no." she said, "I didn't ask for no damn sales rack." When a retail employee follows you around the store because they assume you're going to shoplift. Now, several Black people have experienced this. This is something that we experience in any type of store, and I won't even say it's just a Black people thing with that. I think it's just depending on what the people at the register think you got, because what's the dude that played Daddy's Home? I forget. He played Waterboy 2. Adam Sandler. His child was in the store, and the cashier told her basically that she didn't think she could afford the purse, and so she left up out of the store and told her dad that they tried me, not try. He did something I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have went and gave the store a dime, but he went in and bought all the purses off the shelf to prove to them that it was possible, that they could definitely afford the stuff. I'm not giving you that much of my damn money where you just act like that toward my child. I'm not here to prove a point. My point that would have been proven is to come in there and show you that I can buy the purses and walk out and not buy one. Because now you done lost money. You don't even get the commission. Like, that's the type of points I prove, to show you that you're not going to get my money. I'm not going to sit there and spend my money where I was antagonized. You ain't getting none of my money. None of it. Absolutely not a dollar. Thank you for making my daughter feel like our money wasn't good enough here. Simple as that. When people assume, and following me around the store, I leave your store. Following me around the store is a lot of reason why I do a lot more of online shopping too, because I don't like to deal with people. I don't even want to deal with people in their stores. I don't even want to deal with your racist antics, because I'm going to curse you out real bad about my money. So I'm not going to even go in your store. When people assume you got into a college because of an athletic scholarship or DEI, you just couldn't be smart. It just couldn't have been your time. It couldn't have just been for you. It's not you're only shining because you got a scholarship. And a scholarship means that I'm smart enough. That's why I got the scholarship. That's number one. And I'm not just saying just an athletic scholarship, just any type of scholarship where my grades and my studiousness had to make me get that scholarship. I deserve that scholarship. To make me feel like I'm only worth something based on the fact that I got a scholarship. We hear that all the time. They always say that the only reason why we even in school and got the things that we got is because we played sports. As if Black people aren't smart enough. We built traffic lights. We created half of the shit that work in this country. And now all of a sudden we're not smart enough. We only get the scholarships based on sports. That's crazy. When someone tells you you're so pretty that they didn't even think that you was Black because you're so pretty. Or you're pretty for a Black girl. You're pretty for a Black girl used to piss me off so bad. Because why? I'm Black. So when you call me pretty, by saying I'm pretty for a Black girl, what do you mean? Because I'm Black. It's an interesting thing to say. I don't know. There's people, some rude, weird people in this world. When the airport people ask questions about, are you taking a business trip or are you flying personal? Now, when you go in certain places, you should automatically assume out of your own thought process that if this person going to Paris, it's probably for personal. So when you go and ask them, is it a business trip? You assuming that they can't afford it personally? Half of these people that be making these assumptions toward you are workers, employees, wait staff. Just saying. You can't insult me. It is fighting words. I don't heard that so much in my life, bro. You pretty for a black girl. You pretty for this. I did not know dark skinned girls was so pretty. Interesting. So I know I'm not the first black girl you saw in your life. So are you trying to say all the other ones was ugly to you? I don't see, microaggressions are like, they're for wimps though. When a lot of people who say certain things, they wimps to me. You wouldn't even put fear in me by it, or you wouldn't even shake my nerves up with a lot of these things that these people are saying. So we're gonna jump out the microaggressions really quickly and talk about 5 recent shocking acts of racism against Black folks in America that recently just happened in 2025. In July of 2025, the alleged lynching, and it's not alleged, but the alleged lynching of a Black man to the rise of whites only towns, Black people should keep their eyes wide open for racism going down. On July 10th, a Confederate flag supporter arrives at a South Carolina State House on July 10th in Columbia, South Carolina, to mark the 2-year anniversary of the removal of the Confederate flag. So he walked around with the Confederate flag to prove that it was still relevant and prevalent in his life. A white man attacked a Black 11-year-old. An 11-year-old Black student was standing with his classmates when a 43-year-old Paul Bittner walked up to him and punched him in the face, an 11-year-old Black boy. He shoved the child to the ground, resulting in him chipping his teeth. He yelled, "Are you going to talk to a white man like that?" before fleeing the scene. He was arrested, all while spewing racial slurs. He pleaded guilty to the hate crime and was sentenced to 41 months behind bars. He pushed somebody's Black child down on the ground. The child's father, he said, the child's father stated, "The toughest part about this is that my son was doing nothing and was attacked because of his skin color, because he didn't look like his attacker. No, the toughest part of me would have been getting me off him." The next one was a Black man was forced to the back of the bus, Rosa Parks style. I did not hear about this, but I don't watch news either. So I had to go deep digging for these stories, even though they was in 2025. But I don't. Oof. A Black man was forced to the back of the bus, Rosa Parks style. Xavier Davis was one of 2 Black men who boarded the Jefferson Line's bus to Minnesota. Soon after they got on the bus driver approached them, allegedly telling them to go to the back of the bus. After a verbal argument, the men moved to the back but insisted they did nothing wrong. "Let me off this bus immediately. We're not speaking loud enough. We're not speaking loud enough." They did sue. He said he told them to move to the back of the bus because they smelled like marijuana. That's what he said. He was suspended from his job because he made a post on Instagram which showed him holding a barbed wire wrapped bat with the words NIGGER, the hard ER, beaten. He had nigger beater written on his wire wrap bat. The video went viral and word got back to the bosses. So they felt like he was no longer moving them to the back of the bus for the marijuana smell. He did it because he hates Black people. So it went viral. They said that they they took the bat into custody to do further research to make sure the bat wasn't used on any Black people. Yeah, that's 3 incidents. That's from 2025. Another incident. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. That's crazy. It really is. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow. Another incident was when, let's see. Yeah, 5 of them right here. Yeah, I tried to skip through some of them because I didn't want to say all of them, but hey. The lynching of a Black man. They hung Earl Smith. He was hanging from a tree in Albany, New York. His death was ruled a suicide by the police, but the 58-year-old's family and civil rights advocates believe something more sinister happened. Given the horrific history of lynchings in America, Smith's story compares to Jim Crow era murders of Black people who were targeted and murdered. There have been a lot of people found hung in trees around the country. They've been ruling them as suicides. And that's very true. It's a lot of lynchings that have been happening. Those people, one thing about a Black person, they're not jumping up from hanging themselves from no tree. Save that bullshit. No Black person is hanging themselves from a tree. So that's my show today, y'all. I have to do small doses of racism topics. This is something that still kind of hinders my thought process a little bit. So I do not go too hard on these topics because I'm not healed in that area. So that would anger me a little bit. But we've done our due diligence today talking about the microaggressions. And I also wanted to throw in the factual things about the lynchings and the other issues that are happening toward Black people in this country. I wanted to target those issues today to make sure that we are not ignoring what can be possibly happening to us. I want you guys to digress, take a couple of deep breaths with me, because we're going to go ahead and just swallow this information. We have taken it in. We're going to digest it, and we're going to continue to take on our day-to-day lives and continue to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and protecting our peace. So in order to do that, we want to make sure we release this today. You learned it, you heard it, you took it in. Now let's take it in enough to be able to release it. All right, just 2 deep breaths with me. 1, out, in, out. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of your peace, and mind your energy. Y'all be good. Peace.
6:30 p.m. Eastern. Shelby's World Live taking off. Questions will be answered cause the queen get it off. Unity is for the Black and brown community. Conversation without scrutiny. Hey, we speak from a place of power, no coward. We just making sure the truth isn't overpowered. Black goddess, Black queen, no in between. Radio podcast to the big screen. Her smile is everything, can light up a room. She say what she means, that's why we're in tune. Grown woman handles her biz like it is. Discipline, her role model for the kids. Nothing was given, everything she earned. She sat back and learned, and now it's her turn. So stop on by, comment, subscribe. Each and every Wednesday, SW Live.